The big meeting room on New Geneva Space Station was quiet. Commander Jake Morrison sat at the metal table, looking at the empty chairs around him. Soon, those chairs would be filled with alien leaders from across the galaxy. They had called this meeting to talk about humans. Jake knew it would not be good news. The door opened with a soft hiss. Captain Lisa Rodriguez walked in, her boots clicking on the floor. She carried a datapad and looked worried. "The aliens are here," she sighed. "All 12 species. They look angry." Jake nodded. He had expected this day for months. Humans had been spreading across the galaxy for 50 years. They had made friends with some aliens. They had traded with others. A few times they had to fight, but always humans had won or found a way to make peace. The other species did not like this. "Let them in," Jake said. The room filled with strange beings. There was High Counselor Vex-9, a tall creature with gray skin and 4 arms. His species, the Vorthok, were known as great warriors. Next to him sat a being made of living crystal. The Zephyrians were very smart and very proud. A cloud of gas floated near the ceiling. Inside the cloud, Jake could see lights moving. This was how the Nebula Collective looked. Other aliens filled the room. Some looked like giant insects. Others had scales like snakes. A few were so strange that Jake could not describe them. But they all had one thing in common. They all looked at the humans with dislike. X9 stood up. His 4 arms moved as he talked. "Humans," he said in a voice like grinding stone, "you have spread too far. You have taken too much. You think you are better than us." Jake did not move. He had heard this before. "We have followed all the rules," he said. "We have not broken any laws." "Laws," said the crystal being. Its voice sounded like music, but cold music. "You follow the words of laws, but not the spirit. You make other species join you. You make them think like you. This is not right." The gas cloud spoke next. Its voice came from everywhere at once. "You are young. You are weak. Yet you act like you rule the galaxy. This must stop." Jake looked at Lisa. She was taking notes on her datapad. Her face showed nothing, but Jake knew she was thinking hard. They had talked about this day many times. They had plans. "What do you want?" Jake asked. Vex-9 smiled. His teeth were sharp and yellow. "We want to test you. We want to show the galaxy that humans are not special. We want to prove that you are just another weak species." The crystal being made a sound like breaking glass. This was how his people laughed. "We have made a trial. We call it the Crucible of Worlds. It tests everything. Strength, speed, intelligence, will to live. No species has ever completed it. Many have tried," said the gas cloud. "All have failed. Most have died. The few who lived were broken in mind and body." Jake felt his heart beat faster, but he kept his face calm. "What kind of trial?" Vex-9 moved to the center of the room. A hologram appeared in the air. It showed a dark world covered in mountains and storms. "This is Terminus 9. We built it just for testing. The gravity is 3 times stronger than Earth. The air burns your lungs. The temperature changes from very hot to very cold every few hours." The hologram changed. Now it showed creatures with many teeth and claws. "We put monsters on this world. They are made to kill. They are faster and stronger than any natural animal." "The trial has many parts," said the crystal being. "First, you must survive on this world for 1 week. Then, you must fight our war machines. They know how to fight like the best warriors in the galaxy. After that, you must face tests of the mind. We will show you your worst fears. We will break your will to fight." The gas cloud spoke again. "If you complete all parts of the trial, we will accept that humans are strong. We will let you continue to spread across the galaxy. But if you fail, all humans must go back to Earth. You must stay there forever." Jake looked at the hologram. The world looked terrible. The monsters looked hungry. But he had seen worse things. Earth itself was a dangerous world. Humans had learned to survive in deserts, on ice, in deep oceans, and in space. They had fought wars for thousands of years. They had learned to never give up. "How many beings can we send?" Jake asked. 12, said Dex9. One for each species on the council. They must be your best. They must represent all of humanity. Lisa wrote something on her datapad and showed it to Jake. It said, "We knew this would happen. The team is ready." Jake had been planning for this moment. He had chosen 12 humans from different parts of Earth's military. Each one was the best at what they did. Each one had survived things that would kill most beings. But more than that, each one had the thing that made humans special. They never gave up. "We accept," Jake said. The room became quiet. The aliens looked surprised. They had expected humans to be afraid. They had expected Jake to ask for time to think. "You accept?" Dex9 asked. "You know that no one has ever completed this trial?" "We know," Jake said, "but humans are different. We do not break easily." The crystal being made its breaking glass laugh again. "You are fools. This trial was made by combining the hardest, training from 12 different warrior species. It is designed to find the limits of what any being can do. It will destroy you." "Maybe," Jake said, "but maybe not. When do we start?" "In 1 week," said the gas cloud. "That gives you time to choose your team and say goodbye to your families. Most of them will not come back." The aliens began to leave. As they walked out, Jake heard them talking to each other. They were happy. They thought they had won already. They thought humans would fail like all the others. When the room was empty, Lisa looked at Jake. "Are you sure about this?" Jake smiled. "Remember what happened when we first met the Vorthic? They thought one of their warriors could beat any human in single combat. We sent Danny Cooper, and he won in 30 seconds. This is different," Lisa said. "This is their best trial. They made it to break anyone who tries it." "That's what makes it perfect," Jake said. "They don't understand humans. They think they know our limits, but they only know what they've seen in our files. They don't know what we can really do when we try." Lisa nodded. "I'll contact the team. They're going to love this." As Jake looked out at the stars, he felt excited. The aliens thought they were giving humans an impossible test. But Jake knew better. They were giving humans a chance too. Show the galaxy what they were really made of. The trial would begin in 1 week. Jake could hardly wait. The transport ship moved through space toward the meeting point. Inside, 12 humans sat in their seats, checking their equipment one last time. Each person on the team had been chosen for a reason. Each one was the best at something important. Captain Lisa Rodriguez walked down the center of the ship, looking at her team. She had worked with Jake Morrison to pick these people. They had spent months studying files and watching training videos. Now, their choices would be tested. "Listen up," Lisa said. "We reach Terminus 9 in 6 hours. Time for final briefing." Sergeant Danny Cooper looked up from cleaning his rifle. He was 32 years old and had been a Navy SEAL for 10 years. His dark hair was cut short and his brown eyes were calm. Danny had fought pirates near Europa and had won battles that should have been impossible. He was the team's leader in combat. "I've been reading about this trial," Danny said. "The aliens think it's hard. Looks like a normal Tuesday to me." "Lieutenant." Amy Zhang laughed. She was 28, with black hair pulled back in a tight bun. Amy was the best sniper in the Marine Corps. She had made shots that other people said could not be made. Her record was killing an enemy from 4 miles away in a storm. The gravity is 3 times Earth normal, Amy said. That's actually good. For shooting, the bullets will fly straighter. Corporal Billy Hayes was checking his explosives. He was a big man with red hair and green eyes. Billy had grown up in Texas and had joined the Army when he was 18. He was an expert with all kinds of bombs and explosives. Once, he had blown up a mountain to save a colony from aliens who wanted to hurt them. I brought extra charges, Billy said. If we need to make our own doors, I can do that. Private Kate Sullivan was looking at maps of the trial world. She was 25 years old and had grown up in the Australian desert. Kate knew how to survive in places where other people would die. She had lived for 30 days in the desert with no water and no food, just to prove it could be done. The temperature changes don't look too bad, Kate said. I've been in worse places. The desert gets hotter than this, and the poles get colder. Corporal Tony Lewis was sharpening his knife. He was from Alaska and had learned to hunt and survive in the cold from his father. Tony was an expert tracker and could find anyone or anything. He had once tracked a criminal across 3 planets and caught him in a place where no one else could go. The wildlife might be a problem, Tony said, but I've dealt with polar bears and wolves. These alien monsters might be bigger, but they're still just animals. Private Mike Davis was the team's medic. He was 30 years old and had saved more lives than he could count. Mike had worked in war zones and disaster areas. He could perform surgery in the middle of a battle and keep people alive when they should have died. I've got enough medical supplies for a month, Mike said. Plus, I know how to make medicine from local plants. These aliens might not know that humans can eat almost anything. Sergeant Julie Kim was the team's communications expert. She was 26 and could fix any electronic device. Julie had built radios from spare parts and had kept communications working in places where technology should not work. I've studied their monitoring equipment, Julie said. I can probably hack into their systems if we need to. They don't know much about human technology. Lieutenant Carl Brown was the team's engineer. He was 34 and could build anything. From anything. Carl had built shelters on dead worlds and had made vehicles work in impossible conditions. He looked at problems and found solutions. I've been thinking about the environment, Carl said. The gravity and temperature changes will actually help us. We can use them to build better defenses. Private Ann Taylor was the team's pilot. She was 29 and could fly anything that had wings or rockets, and had flown rescue missions in asteroid fields and had landed ships in storms that should have destroyed them. If we need to get off this world fast, I can make it happen, Ann said. I've studied their transport systems. Human ships are faster and more flexible. Sergeant Bob Miller was the team's intelligence officer. He was 31 and could learn enemy plans just by watching them. Bob had studied alien psychology and knew how different species thought and fought. The aliens who made this trial are overconfident, Bob said. They think they know everything about humans, but they only know what's in our official files. They don't know our real capabilities. Captain Helen White was the team's second in command. She was 33 and had led soldiers in battles across the galaxy. Helen was smart, tough, and never gave up. She had once held off an entire enemy army with just 20 soldiers. Remember, Helen said, the aliens are watching everything we do. They expect us to struggle. They expect us to fail. Let's show them what humans are really like. Lisa looked at her team. Each person was calm and ready. They had trained together for months. They knew each other's strengths and weaknesses. More than that, they trusted each other completely. The aliens call this the Crucible of Worlds, Lisa said. They say it's designed to break any species that tries it. No one has ever completed it. Most beings die trying. Danny smiled. Sounds like they need better training programs. Amy nodded. I've been looking at the combat scenarios. The AI opponents are programmed with fighting styles from 12 different species, but they're still just programs. They can't adapt like real fighters. Billy was excited. Wait until they see what human explosives can do. We've been making bigger and better bombs for centuries. Kate looked at the planet data again. The survival parts look easy. I've camped in worse places for fun. Tony agreed. The hunting will be interesting. I wonder if alien monsters taste good. Mike laughed. If they don't, I can probably make them taste better. Humans have been eating strange things for thousands of years. Julie was working on her equipment. I'll have full communications. Up in the first hour. We'll know everything that's happening. Carl was drawing plans. I can build us a base camp that will be better than anything the aliens expect. We'll be comfortable while we're breaking their trial, and with studying flight patterns. If we need air support, I can rig something up. These aliens don't know much about human aircraft. Bob was reading alien psychology reports. They're going to be confused when we start succeeding. They might try to change the rules. Helen was making final plans. We stick together. We watch each other's backs. We show them that humans don't break. Lisa felt proud of her team. These 12 people represented the best of humanity. They were strong, smart, and brave. But most importantly, they had something the aliens didn't understand. They had the human spirit. The aliens think they're giving us an impossible test, Lisa sighed. They think they're going to humble humanity. But they don't understand what they're really doing. What's that? Danny asked. Lisa smiled. They're giving us a chance to show the galaxy what humans can do when we really try. They think this trial will break us. But it's just going to be our warm-up. The team laughed. They were ready for whatever the aliens could throw at them. They had trained for this moment their whole lives, not just in the military, but as humans. Every human child learned to overcome challenges. Every human adult had survived things that would kill other species. As the ship approached the trial world, Lisa looked out at the dark planet below. It looked dangerous and hostile. Perfect for humans. Remember, she said to her team, we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for all of humanity. Let's show these aliens what we're made of. The 12 humans checked their equipment one final time. Soon, they would land on a world designed to kill them. They would face challenges that had destroyed every other species. But they were not afraid. They were excited. The trial was about to begin. The transport ship landed on Terminus 9 with a heavy thud. The extra gravity made everything feel 3 times heavier than normal. The 12 humans felt the weight as they stood up, but they had trained for this. Their muscles were strong, and their bones were tough. Danny Cooper opened the ship's door. Hot air rushed in, burning his lungs for a moment. The temperature was over 400 degrees. Most aliens would have died instantly. Danny just coughed once and stepped outside. Feels like summer in Arizona, he said into his radio. The alien observers in orbit could not believe what they were seeing. High Counselor Dex-9 watched the screens with his 4 arms crossed. The humans should have been struggling just to breathe. Instead, they were walking around like nothing was wrong. Are the environmental controls working? Dex-9 asked. Yes, sir, said the technician. The gravity is at 3 times Earth normal. The temperature is at maximum heat level. The air is burning their lungs. Then why are they not dying? The technician looked confused. I don't know, sir. They seemed comfortable. On the planet's surface, the human team was setting up their equipment. Amy John was already looking for high ground to use as a sniper position. The heavy gravity made her rifle feel like it weighed 60 pounds instead of 20, but she carried It easily. This gravity is actually helpful, Amy said. My bullets will hit harder and fly straighter. Billy Hayes was examining the rocky ground. He had brought explosives to clear paths and build shelters. But the rock was softer than he expected. He could work with this. I can make us a bunker in about 2 hours, Billy said. This rock will blow apart like sand. Kate Sullivan was checking the air and soil. She had brought equipment to test for poisons and dangerous chemicals. The air burned a little, but not worse than standing near a campfire. The soil was rich and could grow food. The environment is hostile, but not deadly, Kate reported. I've seen worse places on Earth. Tony Lewis was tracking the local wildlife. His instruments showed large creatures moving in the distance. They were big and probably dangerous, but Tony had hunted dangerous animals before. I count at least 20 different species of predators, Tony said. They're bigger than Earth animals, but not smarter. We can handle them. The alien observers were getting worried. The humans had been on the planet for 2 hours, and were not just surviving, they were thriving. They were building a base camp, mapping the area, and preparing for the challenges ahead. This is impossible, said the crystal being. The heat alone should have killed them. Maybe they are wearing special suits, suggested the gas cloud. But the monitors showed that the humans were wearing normal military uniforms. They had no special protection, except their natural human endurance. Meanwhile, the human team was working together like a well-oiled machine. Mike Davis had set up a medical station and was checking everyone's health. The burning air was irritating their lungs, but not enough to cause real damage. Everyone's vitals are normal, Mike reported. The heat is causing some dehydration, but nothing serious. Julie Kim had her communications equipment working perfectly. She was not only talking to the team, but had also started monitoring the alien observers' transmissions. The aliens are confused, Julie said with a smile. They can't understand why. We're not dying. Carl Brown was building shelters from the local materials. The heavy gravity actually helped him work, because his tools hit harder and cut deeper. He was making progress faster than expected. The physics here, different, but not harder, Carl said. Just need to adjust my calculations. And Taylor was preparing emergency evacuation procedures. She had studied the planet's weather patterns and knew that storms were coming, but she was not worried. The wind patterns are predictable, Anne said. I can fly in much worse conditions. Bob Miller was analyzing the alien monitoring systems. He could see that the aliens were watching everything. The humans did. They were taking notes and making plans. They're studying us, Bob said. They want to understand how we're succeeding. Helen White was coordinating the team's activities. She kept everyone focused and working together. Her leadership skills were keeping the team efficient and calm. We're ahead of schedule, Helen reported. The environment is challenging, but manageable. As the day went on, the temperature began to drop. The alien designers had programmed the planet to swing from extreme heat to extreme cold. They expected this to force the humans to constantly adjust their equipment and waste energy. Instead, the humans had planned for this. Kate Sullivan had grown up in the Australian desert, where temperatures changed dramatically between day and night. She had taught the team how to prepare for temperature swings. Here comes the cold, Kate said. Should drop to minus 200 degrees in about an hour. The team calmly put on additional layers of clothing and activated their heating systems. They had brought enough supplies to stay warm for weeks. When the temperature dropped, the alien observers expected to see the humans struggle. Instead, they saw them working normally, as if nothing had changed. Impossible, said Nex9. No species can adapt to temperature changes this quickly. Maybe humans are different than we thought, suggested one of the insect beings. Different? How? Asked the crystal being. Maybe they are tougher than our records show. On the planet, the human team was setting up their base camp. Carl Brown had built a shelter that was warmer and more comfortable than anything the aliens had expected. Billy Hayes had cleared a defensive perimeter with his explosives. Amy Zhang had found 3 perfect sniper positions. "This is nice," said Danny Cooper. "Reminds me of training exercises, but easier." The alien observers heard this comment and could not believe it. Easier? This trial was designed to be the hardest test in the galaxy. How could humans think it was easy? "Run a diagnostic on all systems," ordered X9. There must be a malfunction, but all the systems were working perfectly. The gravity was 3 times Earth normal. The temperature was swinging between deadly extremes. The air was burning the Ye. Humans' lungs. Everything was working as designed. The problem was that the aliens had not understood what humans were capable of. They had based their trial on the assumption that humans had limits similar to other species. They were wrong. As night fell on Terminus 9, the human team gathered around a fire that Billy had built. They were eating military rations and drinking water from their supplies. They looked relaxed and comfortable. "Day 1 complete," said Lisa Rodriguez. "Everyone feeling good?" "Perfect," said Danny. "When do the real challenges start?" "Tomorrow we face the bioengineered predators," Lisa said. "The aliens designed them to be perfect killers." Tony Lewis smiled. "I've been tracking them all day. They're big and strong, but they hunt like Earth animals. We know how to deal with that." Amy Zhang was cleaning her rifle. "I've got clear shots on at least 6 of them from my position. They won't know what hit them." The alien observers listened to this conversation with growing alarm. The humans were not afraid of the bioengineered predators. They were looking forward to fighting them. "This is not how the trial is supposed to work," said the gas cloud. "They should be terrified. They should be dying," added the crystal being. But the humans were not dying. They were not even struggling. They had turned the first day of the trial into a camping trip. As the team settled in for the night, they took turns standing guard. The heavy gravity made everything more tiring, but they were used to working in difficult conditions. The temperature swings were annoying, but they had dealt with worse weather on Earth. "You know," said Helen White, "this is actually kind of fun. When was the last time we got to do fieldwork without having to worry about politics or paperwork?" "It's like the old days," agreed Carl Brown. "Just us against the environment. No complications." The alien observers watched the humans sleep peacefully through the night. They were not shivering from cold or sweating from heat. They were not worried about predators or environmental hazards. They were sleeping like they were in their own beds. "How is this possible?" Vex-9 asked for the 10th time. "I don't know," said the technician. "But they've completed the first day of the trial without any problems. They're not just surviving, they're comfortable. And tomorrow? Tomorrow they face the bioengineered predators, creatures designed to kill anything that moves." Vex-9 looked at the peaceful human camp. "Somehow, I don't think that's going to stop them." As dawn broke over Terminus 9, the human team woke up refreshed and ready for day 2. They had passed the first test without even trying. The aliens' ultimate environmental challenge had been nothing more than a mild inconvenience. "Ready for day 2?" asked Lisa Rodriguez. "Bring it on," said Danny Cooper. The trial was just getting started, but the humans were already winning. The second day on Terminus 9 began with a roar that shook the ground. The bioengineered predators were coming. The alien observers had programmed them to attack at dawn, when most species would be tired and unprepared. The humans were ready. Amy Kyang had been awake for an hour, watching the creatures approach through her rifle scope. They were massive beasts, each one the size of a small building. They had been designed by combining the deadliest features of predators from 12 different worlds. I count 15 targets, Amy reported through her radio. Range, 800 meters and closing. Copy that, said Danny Cooper. Everyone to positions. The human team moved with practiced efficiency. This was not their first battle, and it would not be their last. Each person knew their job and did it without hesitation. Billy Hayes had prepared explosive traps during the night. The creatures were walking straight into them. Charges set and ready, Billy said. This is going to be fun. Tony Lewis was tracking the creatures' movements. He had studied their patterns and knew where they would go. They're predictable, he said. They hunt like pack animals, but they're not as smart as wolves. The first creature stepped on one of Billy's mines. The explosion was enormous, throwing dirt and rock high into the air. The beast was killed instantly, but the others kept coming. That's one down, Billy said happily. Amy Zhang fired her rifle. The bullet traveled over half a mile and hit a creature right in the eye. The beast fell dead. She immediately aimed at the next target. 2 down, Amy reported. The alien observers could not believe what they were seeing. The bioengineered predators were supposed to be unstoppable. They had been designed to hunt and kill any life form they encountered. But the humans were picking them off like they were shooting targets at a range. How are they doing this? Asked the crystal being. Human weapons are more advanced than we expected, said the technician, and their tactics are very sophisticated. These creatures have killed warriors from 6 different species, said X9. They should be overwhelming the humans. But the humans were not being overwhelmed. They were winning easily. Carl Brown had built defensive positions that funneled the creatures into kill zones. The beasts were strong and fast, but they were not smart enough to avoid the trap. Architecture always beats biology, Carl said as another creature fell into his prepared pit. Kate Sullivan was using her survival skills to confuse the creatures. She had spread scents around the area that made the beasts think they were humans, where there were none. They were attacking empty ground while the real humans shot them from hiding. Misdirection is the key, Kate said. These things are smart, but they're not smarter than humans. The battle lasted only 30 minutes. When it was over, all 15 bioengineered predators were dead. The humans had not lost a single person. They had barely been injured. That was a good warm-up, said Danny Cooper, reloading his rifle. Warm-up? Asked Helen White with a smile. I thought this was supposed to be the hard part. The alien observers were in shock. Their perfect killers had been destroyed by 12 humans who acted like they were having fun. The creatures that had terrified the galaxy's greatest warriors had been treated like hunting practice. Run the combat scenarios, ordered X9. Maybe the AI opponents will do better. The combat scenarios were the next phase of the trial. The humans would face artificial intelligence opponents programmed with the fighting knowledge of the galaxy's most feared warriors. Each AI knew how to fight like a different species and could adapt to any situation. The first AI opponent materialized in front of the human camp. It looked like a 10-foot-tall Vorthic warrior, covered in armor and carrying weapons that could cut through steel. It had been programmed with the combat knowledge of 1,000 battles. Danny Cooper stepped forward to meet it. I'll take this. 1, he said. The AI attacked with perfect technique. It moved faster than any living being and struck with precise, deadly blows. Its programming included every possible fighting style, and counter-dash attack. Danny defeated it in less than 3 minutes. That was interesting, Danny said, walking back to his team. It fought like it had read a book about fighting. Real combat. Is Messier. The alien observers watched in disbelief as the AI that had been programmed with centuries of Vorthic warrior knowledge was beaten by a single human who seemed to be holding back. How is this possible? Asked a Vorthic observer. I knew how to fight, said X9. It had perfect technique. Perfect technique based on our understanding of combat, said Bob Miller, who had been listening to their communications. But humans fight differently. We don't follow the rules. The next AI opponent was based on the Crystal Being's warrior. Traditions. It used energy weapons and could move at the speed of light. It attacked Amy Jung while she was checking her equipment. Amy defeated it without even putting down her rifle cleaning kit. These AIs are too predictable, Amy said. They do exactly what their programming says. Real fighters improvise. One by one, the AI opponents were defeated. Each one had been programmed with the greatest fighting knowledge of a different species. Each one was supposed to be unbeatable, but the humans treated them like training exercises. This is embarrassing, said the gas cloud. Our greatest warriors are being defeated by humans who look bored. Move to the psychological trials, ordered Vex-9. Maybe we can break their minds. The psychological trials were the aliens' secret weapon. They had studied human psychology and had created scenarios designed to exploit humanity's deepest fears. They would place each human in a simulation that would attack their mind and will to fight. Lisa Rodriguez was the first to enter the psychological trial chamber. The aliens had programmed it with humanity's greatest fears: being buried alive, losing loved ones, failing to protect others. Lisa found herself in a simulation where she was trapped underground with no way out. The weight of 1,000 tons of rock pressed down on her. She could hear the voices of her team calling for help, but she could not reach them. This scenario had broken the minds of warriors from 8 different species. They had gone insane from the fear and claustrophobia. Lisa used the time to do meditation exercises and plan equipment modifications for the next phase of the trial. This is actually pretty peaceful, she said to the monitoring system. No distractions, no paperwork. I can think clearly. The alien observers could not understand what they were seeing. The scenario that had driven others insane was being treated like a spa day. She's not afraid, said the crystal being. She's enjoying it. That's impossible, said Vex-9. The simulation is designed to create maximum psychological stress. But Lisa was not stressed. She was relaxed. When the simulation ended, she walked out smiling. That was nice, she said. Can I do it again? Each human faced a different psychological trial. Danny was put in a scenario where he had to watch his friends die. Amy was shown a world where she had failed to protect innocent people. Billy was trapped in a place where his explosives hurt people he cared about. Every scenario was designed to break the human spirit. Every scenario had worked on other species. None of them worked on humans. I've seen real combat, Danny said when his trial ended. Simulations can't compare to the real thing. I've made mistakes before, Amy said, but I learned from them. That's what makes you stronger. Explosives are tools, Billy said. It's how you use them that matters. I use them to save people, not hurt them. The alien observers watched in growing confusion as their ultimate psychological weapons were dismissed by the humans as minor inconveniences. What's wrong with them? Asked the gas cloud. Why are they not breaking? Maybe, said Bob Miller, still listening to their communications. You don't understand humans as well as you think. The truth was becoming clear to the aliens. They had designed their trial based on the assumption that humans had the same limits as other species. They had studied human files and records, but they had not understood what those records really meant. When the files said that humans could survive in extreme environments, the aliens thought it meant they could survive for short periods with special equipment. They did not understand that humans regularly lived in environments that would kill most other species. When the files said that humans were good fighters, the aliens thought it meant they could win battles with superior numbers or equipment. They did not understand that humans had been fighting wars for thousands of years, and had learned to win against impossible odds. When the files said that humans were mentally tough, the aliens thought it meant they could resist some psychological pressure. They did not understand that humans regularly faced stress and trauma that would break other species and came out stronger. The trial is not working, admitted Dex-9. They are not just surviving, they are succeeding easily. Maybe we made it too easy, suggested the crystal being. Too easy? Asked the gas cloud. This trial has killed beings from every species that has attempted it. Then maybe humans are different, said the insect being Dot. As the second day ended, the human team gathered around their campfire again. They had faced bioengineered predators, AI warriors, and psychological torture. They had won every challenge without breaking a sweat. 2 days down, said Lisa Rodriguez. How is everyone feeling? Great, said Danny Cooper. This is easier than basic training. The AI opponents The third day on Terminus 9 began differently. The alien observers had spent all night in emergency meetings, trying to figure out what to do. Their ultimate trial was failing completely. The humans were not just surviving, they were thriving. Counselor Dex-9 made a decision that went against all protocols. He opened a direct communication channel to the human team. Humans, his voice crackled through their radios. We need to talk. Lisa Rodriguez looked surprised. The aliens were not supposed to communicate during the trial. We're listening, she said. How are you doing this? Dex-9 asked. His voice sounded frustrated and confused. This trial has killed warriors from every species in the galaxy. It has broken the minds of the strongest beings we know. Yet you treat it like a game, Danny Cooper laughed. Because it is easy. We told you that humans are different. Different how? Demanded the crystal being, joining the conversation. We studied your files. We know your limitations. No, said Bob Miller. You know what we put in our files. You don't know what we're really capable of. Amy Zhang was setting up her rifle for the day's challenges. Your trial is based on your understanding of limits. But you don't understand human limits. The gas cloud spoke next. Explain. Helen White stood up and looked at the sky where the alien ships were orbiting. You want to understand humans? Let me tell you about Earth. She walked to the center of a camp where everyone could hear her. Earth is a death world. The gravity changes depending on where you are. The temperature swings from -90 to +60 degrees Celsius. The air pressure can crush you or make you pass out. We have storms that can destroy cities and earthquakes that can split mountains. But that's not the worst part, added Kate Sullivan. Earth is covered in things that want to kill you. Poisonous plants, deadly animals, diseases that can wipe out entire populations. Humans spent thousands of years learning to survive in places that would kill most aliens instantly. Carl Brown picked up a rock and crushed it in his hand. Your 3 times gravity? That's what we deal with in our construction. Equipment. Your temperature swings? We have places on Earth that are hotter and colder. Your burning air? We breathe worse things in our cities. The alien observers were silent. They had not realized that Earth itself was more dangerous than their trial world. Tony Lewis was tracking some local wildlife. Your bioengineered predators? We have sharks, tigers, bears, and poisonous snakes. We have creatures that hunt humans for food. We learn to hunt them back. Billy Hayes was preparing his equipment for the day. Your AI opponents? We've been fighting wars for 5,000 years. Every generation of humans learns new ways to kill and new ways to survive. Your programs can't match that experience. Mike Davis was checking his medical supplies. Your psychological trials? Every human has faced fear, loss, pain, and death. We learn to deal with trauma from the time we're children. What breaks other species just makes us stronger. The aliens were beginning to understand. They had designed their trial based on their own limitations, not human ones. "But the files," said X9. "Your official records show specific capabilities." Julie Kim smiled. "Those files show our minimum capabilities, what we can do when we're not trying. You built your trial to challenge our minimum, not our maximum." Lisa. Rodriguez decided to demonstrate. "Computer, increase gravity to maximum safe levels." "That would be 10 times Earth normal," said the alien technician. "It will crush you." "Do it." The gravity increased. The humans felt heavier, but they kept working normally. They moved a little slower, but they did not struggle. "Increase temperature to maximum," Lisa continued. The temperature rose to over 600 degrees. The humans activated their cooling systems and kept working. "Activate all remaining predators." 50 more bioengineered creatures appeared around the camp. The humans calmly picked up their weapons and prepared to fight. What happened next shocked the alien observers. The humans did not just survive the impossible conditions. They thrived in them. They moved like a perfect team, each person covering the others. They used the terrain, the weather, and even the extreme gravity to their advantage. In 20 minutes, all 50 predators were dead. The humans had not lost a single person. They had barely been slowed down. "How?" whispered the crystal. Being Ann Taylor looked up at the alien ships. "Because you don't understand what humans really are. You think we're just another species, but we're not." "What are you then?" Asked the gas cloud. Sergeant Bob Miller answered. "We're what happens when a species refuses to give up." Every other race in the galaxy found a comfortable planet and stayed there. When things got hard, they built technology to make life easier. "Humans did the opposite," said Carl Brown. "When things got hard, we got harder. When our environment tried to kill us, we learned to kill it back. When we faced impossible challenges, we made them possible." Danny Cooper was cleaning his rifle. "Again, you built this trial to find our breaking point. But you don't understand. Humans don't have a breaking point. When we reach our limits, we find new limits." "That's impossible," said X9. "Every species has limits." "Every other species," corrected Helen White. "Humans are different. We're the species that looked at fire and decided to control it. We looked at the ocean and decided to cross it. We looked at the sky and decided to fly. We looked at space and decided to live there." Amy Jang fired her rifle at a distant target, hitting it perfectly despite the extreme conditions. "You want to know the real difference between humans and other species? Other species adapt to their environment. Humans make their environment adapt to them." The alien observers were silent for a long time. They were beginning to understand something that terrified them. Humans were not just another species. They were something new in the galaxy. "The trial is over," said Lisa Rodriguez. "We've completed every challenge you had. But more than that, we've shown you what humans really are." "What happens now?" asked Vex-9. Jake Morrison's voice came through the communication system from orbit. "Now you keep your promise. You said if we completed your trial, you would accept that humans are strong. You would let us continue to expand across the galaxy. But you didn't just complete it," said the crystal being. "You made it look easy." "Because it was easy," said Danny Cooper. "This trial was designed to challenge the best warriors in the galaxy. But it wasn't designed to challenge humans at their best. It was designed to challenge humans when we're holding back." "Holding back?" asked the gas cloud. Mike Davis packed up his medical equipment. "This whole trial, we've been careful not to hurt your monitoring equipment, not to damage your test environment, not to show off too much. We've been polite." "Polite?" asked Vex-9. Julie Kim was dismantling her communications gear. "We could have hacked your systems on day one. We could have taken control of your ships. We could have turned your own trial against you, but we didn't. That wouldn't have been fair. Kate Sullivan was packing her survival gear. We wanted to give you a fair test. We wanted you to see what humans could do when we play by your rules. Tony Lewis was securing his hunting equipment. But now you know the truth. Your rules don't limit us. Nothing limits us. The alien observers watched as the humans calmly packed their equipment and prepared to leave. They had treated the galaxy's ultimate trial like a training exercise. They had dominated every challenge without effort. But more than that, they had revealed something about humanity that the aliens had never understood. Humans were not just tough or smart or brave. They were something that the galaxy had never seen before. What are you? X9 asked one final time. Lisa Rodriguez looked up at the alien ships as the human transport came to pick them up. We're human. We're the species that turns impossible into inevitable. We're the species that treats your ultimate challenge as our warm-up exercise. And we're just getting started, added Danny Cooper with a smile dot as the human ship left Terminus 9. The alien observers sat in stunned silence. They had wanted to humble humanity. Instead, they had learned that humans could not be humbled because they had no limits to humble. The Crucible of Worlds was quietly shut down the next week. The official reason was technical difficulties. The real reason was that the trial designed to break the strongest beings in the galaxy had been turned into a human recreational facility in the years that followed, when young aliens asked why. Their species didn't challenge human expansion. The elders would tell them about the trial. They would explain how 12 humans had taken the galaxy's ultimate test and turned it into a warm-up exercise. The humans, meanwhile, continued their expansion across the galaxy. They carried with them the quiet confidence of a species that had proven itself against impossible odds. They had shown the galaxy that there was no challenge too great, no obstacle too difficult, no trial too hard for humanity to overcome. The aliens had learned an important lesson that day. When you challenge humans, you don't just test their limits. You teach them that they don't have limits. And that was a lesson the galaxy would never forget.